Everybody knows the sad story of the Titanic, thanks to the iconic film that dramatized the tragic love of two of the passengers.
I'll never let go. I promise.
Hello everyone, this is Mirza. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here in Belfast, capital of Northern Ireland's most iconic place, Titanic. The birthplace of Titanic. Titanic यहाँ पे बना था भाई. So let's go and visit the Titanic Museum.
There have been many maritime disasters, but none have caught the public imagination in such a dramatic and lasting way as that of the Titanic. She was the pride of her company, the White Star Line. She was the biggest ship in the world. April 1912 are unforgettable. Never again would men feel so confident in technology. It was claimed in the press that she was unsinkable, and her sinking left valuable lessons to be learned. But let's return to the early years of the century and trace the birth of this great liner and her sister ships, for she was one of three. In the Edwardian era, Britain was building 50% of the world's merchant ships. Her shipbuilding and railway engineering were unsurpassed throughout the world, and her worldwide possessions made the British Empire the greatest the world had ever seen, the empire on which the sun never set. The most lucrative trading route was that with North America, and the North Atlantic became both the major sea route and the most important for passenger trade. At that time, there were no restrictions on emigrants from Europe entering the New World. On July the 1st, 1907, the order for the first two ships was placed with Harland and Wolff of Belfast. They were given the shipyard numbers 400 and 401. Major changes were needed at the Queen's Island shipyard. 3 existing slipways were demolished and 2 new ones laid in their place. These were straddled by a gantry giving clear spaces of 100 feet between rows of supporting towers. The 840 feet long gantry was surmounted by a mobile crane with a span of 135 feet and lifting capacity of 3 tons. 6 mobile frames each carried 10 radial cranes, with lifts and ramps to transport men and materials to the various levels of construction. A large floating crane was purchased from Germany, and the construction of a new dry dock commenced. The designer of the ships was Thomas Andrews. He was the nephew of Lord Pirrie, chairman of Harland and Wolff. Wilding, using a drawing office full of draftsmen and a huge model of the proposed class of ship. The keel of the Olympic was laid on January the 1st, 1909, and that of the Titanic on March the 16th. The construction of the 2 massive hulls progressed apace. The Olympic a few months ahead of the Titanic, to ease pressure on the shipyard production shops.
It used to be the largest passenger ship in the world. There from the beginning, I was to put me to work and fold them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work, one after another. We called it clincher. One of the foremen told me years ago, that's how you built these ships. Chased it out after work. I guess the upper deck was steel too. The sliding ways would be released by the hydraulic trigger.
The Olympic finally left Belfast on May the 31st, 1911. This was a brilliantly timed publicity exercise, as the Titanic herself was finally launched on that same day. For this occasion, the landward end of the building gantry was decked with one Union Jack and one Stars and Stripes, with a white star pennant in the center, below which code flags spelled out "Success." About 100,000 people watched as, just after noon, the liner, urged on by hydraulic rams, slid backwards into the River Lagan. There was little ceremony. A retired shipyard worker recalled, "They just builds 'em and chucks 'em in." In just 62 seconds, she slid into the water and was brought to a halt by the tons of drag chains attached by cables along her hull. On her maiden voyage at noon on Wednesday, June the 14th. Her captain was Edward John Smith, their premier Atlantic captain and destined for command of her sister ship. He had taken his finest and final command and took the ship on to Southampton. She would be a floating palace. Ice warnings had been received during Sunday by the two Marconi operators in the radio room, Jack Phillips and his assistant, Harold Bride. Their prime job was to transmit and receive private messages, known as Marconigrams, stock exchange information, and news. These private messages bringing the company its revenue. The Titanic's bow sank lower and lower in the water. Yet all her lights remained ablaze throughout, until very near the end.